Thank you for joining me. We're back here at the second part of our continued learning when we look at professional learning and the building leader and capacity for leadership. So, helping teachers feel empowered and helping students feel safe and valued and supported is a strength for building leaders, and it's also a strength for myself. I think that collaborating with teachers, letting them feel the buy-in and understanding what's going on is important, and that they're valued, that the work that they're putting in, and for students as well, that the work they're putting in is of value and that they're being supported. The implementation of effective professional development programs is a must that needs to be considered. That's a strength if you have it, and it's a weakness if you don't. Behind this identified characteristic is you have to utilize that professional development that you have, and the teachers have to have a buy-in for it, and if they feel like they're a part of the topics and decision making for what is being introduced during professional development, that is a good thing. Another way is to have the teachers themselves, somebody who has a strength in that area, to teach the professional development, to lead it. And so those things have to be considered when professional learning occurs on the job. While coaching, teaching, mentoring, that's a great thing that is done in a building that has strong capacity for leadership. And what that is how that manifests in my building that I'm currently in is you go to the principal with an idea, whether it's a club that you want to implement with students, or like in my case, that as the role of the social worker, I now would like to look at becoming a building leader, and my goal is to be an assistant principal in the secondary setting. And so now that he understands my goal and he knows that I'm going through the courses, he has allowed me to learn more about the roles of the assistant principal, and has taught me things and introduced me to part of the role that I didn't know in the social work capacity. So that's important. Commitment to building capacity in adult learners as well as student learners. Having that lateral development for staff in many opportunities shows growth. So like I had said before, having an area for leadership for a teacher could be just leading a club after school or during lunchtime. It could also be expressing an interest to teach something to the staff during professional development, a skill, or present information about something. Our equity champion presents information to us all the time about things. That is a strength to have, and being able to do in a building, it's not always offered, so that's always a good thing. So implemented systems, things that are occurring in the building that are positives or strength versus a weakness. Effective leadership involves identifying goals and the means of achieving them. So as a leader, you need to be able to look at the data within your building and come up with your mission and vision statement. So that's an implementation there. You also need to be able to look at the data for the students and understand what kind of classes that you need to have offered for the teachers. As the leader, you need to be able to know how many sections of special education classes you need to offer. So you need to be able to look at all of the information coming in and be able to implement the strategies needed for those. Continuous professional development requires multiple sessions over time. Staff need time to practice, especially something that is introduced as a first time for them. A great example for that would be during the COVID times. Introducing to online teaching was not there for all teachers. They didn't have the same skill level. And so our staff was given time to learn how to record videos, learn how to present information on a digital platform. And so having that time to practice before they had to get in front of everybody was very important. So it's a strength if you have the ability to do that. Otherwise, it's a weakness. It's still a good thing because you're practicing something that you've learned, but you're not able to implement it as effectively if you did, or with confidence if you hadn't had practiced it. Practice of instructional leadership to include informational goals, communication objectives, supervision, evaluation, coordinating curriculum. And when I say supervision, I don't mean supervision of employees. I mean the time when a coach or somebody comes in and gives you feedback of things. When the building leader is present in the building or in the classroom to give feedback for something that they saw, a positive, that kind of supervision, being out and about and doing things, and then providing that feedback for staff members. Being able to engage with teachers' instruction by harnessing and observations and providing feedback and making use of the achievement and other data information. So when you practice something and you implement it, having somebody there to observe you is always a positive thing. It's a strength so that they can give you feedback for what needs to be changed. If I make a presentation in the school setting, or even here, for example, I will always read through the feedback and make notes of what I need to do to change to make the next assignment even better than what it was before. So that's always a strength. So my concluding statements, for correlation, this submission demonstrates my ability to collaboratively develop the school's professional capacity through engagement in recruiting, selecting, and hiring staff, as being able to hire strong staff and assist in student growth. If a strong candidate is not available, one that is coachable or willing to learn would be the next best thing to offer. The data showed in the article that there was some growth for students for having principal and teachers with experience, but it wasn't as marked as if it was a staff member who was willing or able to learn with them or practice the feedback and things that have been mentioned. Having staff engaged in professional development is key. They need to feel like the information being shared during the PD time applies to them in effort to support the students. I learned through this assignment that there is reasoning behind the PD, which I knew that, but more of the informational things and the collaborative things. To be honest, I really kind of thought there might be a structure for PD that's given to the district, to each buildings to implement, kind of like how they have to do the curriculum. But as of reading this, I'm learning that it's individualized. You drill down with the data for your building to figure out what your data is. And then being a leader that can personally change or engage with staff and develop relationships, to be as reflective as a leader as I can and a lifelong learner when I get to be a building leader. I want to be able to find those pockets in the building that have positive things, something that I can reach into from outside of the box thinking. So if I have a staff member who's really good at Google, then I know that I can go to them or send somebody to them for Google if they have questions or concerns. If I have somebody who is really engaged in scouting and I have a family that needs to know for more information from scouting, then I'm definitely going to send them to that student. So knowing the pockets and the personalities with the building is important. So as a leader, for relevancy, as a leader, I need to work harder at developing stronger relationships with staff. When I learn more about them as a person, I am better able to process and reflect on strategies to help and improve the building. Like I just mentioned before, knowing what staff have to offer is a great thing. I also need to become more flexible when problem solving. I'll become focused in on one outcome, ignoring all the others. While all other options could have been appropriate, sometimes I ignore the easiest outcome because I'm laser focused or tunnel vision on how to work through a problem. I'm very flexible when it comes to the daily task things. An emergency happens, you got to stop what you're doing, you go and take care of that, or the water fountain broke, and so you got to stop what you're doing to take care of that. I understand that completely and can work on that, but where I do need that flexibility is looking at different solutions. I will practice and engage with more engagement with the staff this year. I will be more present in the building and than I have in the past, and I've gone in the classrooms before, usually when I'm new to a building, and offered teachers a restroom break or a drink break. And I think that I'm going to go ahead and initiate that again so that I can be present. And I'll also be present in more of the professional development settings so I can see how that works and impacts with the staff. So this assignment has helped me understand the importance of collaboration and professional development. I now understand the importance of topics selected for PD sessions. I am hoping to participate in the administrative team this year to understand more how they look at the data from the building to decide the PD topics, because as a building leader, that is something that I'm going to need to know and understand. I will focus on collaboration and growth. I will sit in more of the PD sessions than I have in the past to show staff that I'm engaged and present with their learning. And there are my references. Thank you.